It's smartphone season, and Samsung is kicking it off with some elegant, fast, and expensive phones, their S20 lineup. This video is a hands-on with the S20 and the S20 Plus, some things that you should know before buying either of them. And I also have some coverage of the S20 Ultra coming today, actually, on this channel. So if you're not already subscribed with the bell on, you should definitely do that so you don't miss that video. And when that video goes live, I'm going to link it in the description of this video. But let's dive right into 6 things that you should know before buying the S20 and the S20 Plus. The first thing, camera technology just got a lot better. During the pre-brief, Samsung stressed that the upgrade cycle is getting longer for consumers, so they need to really push the envelope to get consumers to upgrade. And one of the most important things to consumers is the camera, so that's really what they focused on. So there's a lot of new features this year with the camera. Starting out with the fact that the sensor is larger across the board with the S20 and the S20 Plus, and it's a 64 megapixel primary sensor, which is crazy. So that basically means that your pixels are going to be larger, and you're going to get better low light performance and better detail in your images. So you should expect a full MBT style camera comparison video and a camera review because the camera upgrades this year are kind of crazy, but for now, here's your quick rundown of the main things that are different and improved. So one of the biggest upgrades to the camera is zoom quality. So both the S20 and the S20 Plus pack incredible zoom quality. So you get 3 times zoom with no quality loss and 30 times zoom, which is a combination of optical and digital zoom, and it looked really good. 30 times zoom is kind of incredible, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we can get stuck in like this tunnel of innovation and not realize that the specs on this phone are amazing, but I think it's really important to take that step back and realize, like, it's crazy that we could zoom in 30 times and still have a usable image. Only more time will tell with how usable it is in like real world scenarios, but from the samples that they showed and the quick testing I did at the briefing where I was standing away from a bookshelf and I zoomed in, it looked pretty good. I actually think though that the bigger difference maker that's actually going to create like an impact in your daily life is the 3 times zoom, because since you don't have any quality loss, you can get a lot closer to something and still retain a great image. 30 times zoom is kind of there for like the scenarios where you need a ton of zoom and you're willing to lose a little bit of quality, but the 3 times zoom was really great from what I could tell, and it seems like they've also made a lot of improvements to the way they process images, so I didn't really notice as much of a discrepancy between the ultra-wide and the regular lens. In past years on Samsung phones, the ultra-wide looks a lot worse than the regular, like it's a lot more contrasty and dark, and like the exposure is different, but this time it looked pretty similar. More testing is required, but for now, the consistency across the 3 lenses was pretty good. So as I mentioned before, the sensor is bigger, which will help with low light performance, but there's also improved technology for low light performance, which basically changes the sensitivity of the sensor depending on where it is. They're calling it multi-ISO composition, and that's gonna be great because if there's a really bright part of an image in a lower light scenario and a darker part, it's gonna be able to use different ISO values to kind of create like the best exposed image possible. Another new feature added to the cameras is called single shot. And this is actually really cool mode, so I'm not sure if it's done before, but it seems like Samsung has executed on it in a really good way. So single shot is basically the ability to capture like 10 seconds of content, and it will take like a lot of content. And the whole idea is that you don't want to miss the moment. So they brought in like this juggler, and you could just like do a single shot and then get like videos and photos and a bunch of different content so you can focus on enjoying the moment. If you're a parent, you've probably been at like a kid's recital or basketball game or something, and you're trying to capture content because you want to remember the moment. And as you're taking it, you're focusing on framing and hitting the shutter button, and you're watching the entire recital through a tiny screen. That sucks. This is trying to get you not to have to do that, so you could just push the button and then enjoy the actual recital in real life while still making sure that you're capturing the content. So that seems like it's actually going to be a really cool feature. Continuing on with the theme of the camera, making sure you don't miss a moment and capture everything in insane detail, there's 8K now. 8K 24 frames per second with the S20 and the S20 Plus. 8K. Now, I don't know how good it's actually going to be because resolution does not tell the full picture of image quality, but it's 8K. What I did notice when going through the settings though was that it doesn't support tracking autofocus and video effects, it said, so I don't know if there's going to be a firmware update that improves that, but from testing it, that was the setting I was seeing. And also the file sizes are going to be massive, so you might want to invest in a higher storage model, but both phones have micro SD card slots as well, which is nice. And while you're shooting that 8K, you can actually take pictures as well, so you could snap a photo and it will save a 33 megapixel photo, which is also great. So again, staying in the theme of not missing a moment. So not only does it shoot 8K, but Samsung was really keen on you being able to share the 8K. So you can edit the 8K and then upload it from the phone onto YouTube, which supports 8K, or you can cast it to your Samsung QLED 8K TV, because we all have those. Rounding off the camera, it now has improved super steady shot, which now cancels rolling motion, and it also has a night hyperlapse mode. Both things I'm excited to test, so again, expect that full video breaking it down. But I think it's easy to say that this camera is going to be one of the best of the year. Okay, the second thing, all these phones come with 5G. There is no 4G option. So 5G is starting to kind of roll out at a rapid pace, and Samsung wants to be on like the forefront of that. So all these devices are 5G enabled, and I think that's reflected in the prices of these phones. So number 3, these phones are quite expensive. The S20 is $999.99 and the S20 Plus is $1199.99. That means that you're probably going to keep this phone for more than 1 year, which is why 5G is so important. Because even if you don't have 5G now, you may have it like 3 years from now, and then it's going to really be important that your phone already supports that 5G technology. So I'm happy to see it here. It's going to be interesting to see if that takes a hit on the battery life, which is point number 4. These phones pack pretty large batteries. So you got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on the S20 and a 4,500 milliamp hour battery on the S20 Plus. That's great. Hopefully the battery life is going to be excellent, but 5G will definitely be a factor in that. And the other thing that will be a factor in it is point number 5, the new displays. So the new displays are 120 hertz displays with 240 hertz touch sensitivity. Insane. I'm a huge fan of high refresh rate screens, and I am super excited to see a 120 hertz one. This will be my first phone with 120 hertz. So that's exciting. I think that's going to probably take a hit on the battery. Obviously, only testing will tell. But the 120 hertz looked really great in person, and Samsung is really focused on giving you like a great gaming experience. So they're really interested in cutting down like latency, and the 120 hertz will really help with that alongside the touch sensitivity, which is double that at 240 hertz. And the actual size of the screen complements how good the screen is. So the S20 has a 6.2 inch screen and the S20 Plus has a 6.7 inch screen. And you're obviously gonna need some power to back up the 120 hertz and the big screens. And for that you have 12 gigabytes of RAM. That literally is 75% of what my computer has, which is kind of crazy. But it seems like Samsung phones kind of need this RAM because notoriously they have slowed down over the years. They don't always keep their speed. So hopefully the 12 gigabytes helps with keeping that longevity. It's running One UI 2.0, which looked a little bit cleaner to me in person and has some new features as well. And a nice thing with the RAM, if you're interested in gaming, is that you can now keep an app on retainer. So like you can lock an app to always be loaded. So if you have a game that takes like a really long time to load because it's graphically intensive, you can use some of the RAM to always keep it loaded. So you can like go on that game, go off, respond to a message and come back and keep your place. That's a really cool implementation of really like utilizing the RAM, because a lot of manufacturers put in a ton of RAM, but they don't fully utilize it. So it's nice to see a feature that actually does. Okay, and number 6, the colors. So Samsung has added some new colors this year. So the S20 comes in cloud pink, cloud blue, and cosmic gray. And the S20 Plus comes in cloud blue, cosmic gray, and cosmic black, which is kind of a bummer. I love pink and I would have loved to see that color available on both models. In terms of when you could actually buy them, their pre-orders start February 21st and they're going to be in store March 6th. So this is going to be a busy month of content, I think. So on paper, the S20 and the S20 Plus seem like they're going to be like really amazing phones. I hope that that holds true in actual real world use. You're going to want to subscribe so you can see if that's the case. The S20 Ultra video will be linked right here when it's live, so expect that. Let me know in the comments what other content you want to see on the S20, S20 Plus, and S20 Ultra. That's a mouthful. And I think that they're also announcing a foldable phone today, so expect coverage on that as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.